Hello, good people. What's happening? What's going on out there? We just happy to be with you tonight. Want to welcome you to Hot Topics. Before we begin, we know what we ask you to do. Like this, share this. Please share this. Hit the share button. That's like our paid advertisement for this show. So you got to hit the share button. Let everybody know that Hot Topics is on the air. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Some of it may be a little controversial, so go ahead and buckle your seatbelts and let's get ready for our show. Rolling with the ladies tonight. We've got a couple of people we want to roll with tonight, the two ladies. And so get familiar with my voice now. Normally when I'm just rolling with the ladies, I don't get to get too much in, but nevertheless, we're going to see what we got going on tonight. We're going to start at the top. No, we're going to start at the bottom. We're going to start at the bottom. Our young new mother teacher worker. Is that a good title? What we
That's
call
a
it?
perfect title.
Doing all three, trying to balance. Say hello to everybody, Miss Nikisha.
Hey, everyone.
And of course, the fireball of the show. The firecracker, the smoke starter. It is Miss Lady K. How you doing, Miss Austin?
Hello.
You look real bright today. You look like you out. She's outside, huh? She real
Oh, she
bright,
done brought
man.
the outside in.
Right. Man. I don't know if we got anything to talk about today. I don't think it's nothing going on. Oh man. It's a
It's so much.
lot
I'm
of
tired.
stuff
It's so much
going
going on. I'm
on.
tired.
I know that's right.
It's a lot of stuff going on. So, where do we begin? Well, last week, this time, we were kicking off the Democratic National Convention. So here we are, 7 days later. It's a different story. Now it's the Republicans' turn. So we're getting two contrasting points of view. Hey, Miss Nancy, make sure you like this, share this. Before we kind of talk about what we're going to talk about, Nikisha, what are some of the glaring differences that we're seeing? And I know I know you didn't watch. A lot of people didn't watch. I tell people you got to watch all contrasting points of view, whether you agree with it or not, because you have to know what everybody else is saying. Some of it may be true, some of it may not be true, but just from your perspective, what are some of the glaring differences that you're seeing from this convention?
I didn't watch as much as I should. Last night, I initially started watching the Republican side, I'll keep my thoughts to myself. But the major
No, that's what
difference.
the show's about. The thoughts. We
Oh,
want your
goodness.
thoughts.
Ooh. Some of the differences I did see, as far as the common goal, you can see where, with the whether it's real or fake, the show that they presented was as if everybody was like together. It was loving. Like I really felt like Joe Biden and his wife was really together, along with Kamala and her husband. Like it was like you actually see a couple. And then some of the keynote speakers spoke about his character and who he is and what he is and who she is. So those were some of the highlights that stood out for me. I didn't watch the first day of the Republican side, but I did catch yesterday's. And nobody really said anything in a positive manner about how amazing Trump is or how he's a family guy. I thought was very telling, as opposed to the other side. Also, when the first lady came out last night, I maybe I'm just lack of ignorance could be, is I thought he would have came out with his wife and stood her off at the podium, but she was there by herself while he was in the crowd, and I kept hearing my husband and Trump, and it just didn't seem genuine. So those were some of the keynotes that I got from it. And like you stated, I watched it because I wanted to be informed, but some of the things that were said, even by some of the speakers, I'm trying to figure out if we're on the same planet.
So as we're gonna introduce our other guest who will be chiming in virtually. He's simulcasting. He's doing two things at once. So we're gonna get his comments virtually. So just buckle your seatbelts on that. First lady, we're gonna start there. You are a first lady, not of a country but of a church. And Nikisha brought out a fact of what a first family is supposed to look like. And you said some things probably about how you thought when you heard that president was going to escort his wife out, and when so explain what were the optics that you saw as a lady was presenting, her husband was on the sidelines, and did you see it to be authentic? Did you think it was real?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Um,
Yes, we hear you.
oh, okay. Um, First of all, the contradiction between the two. The Democrat side, I felt more of a draw of unity, of trying to unite the country and define the things that make America for real great and what make us together. And on the Republican side, I just got a sense of fear. They're trying to scare people into voting the way that they want them to vote. So they're creating all of these things to say why you shouldn't go there but it's out of fear. It's not out of facts because most of their stuff was not facts. They spent time pulling out the pettiest things from the Democrats. But in terms of the first lady, I actually think she was the best presenter of the whole convocation all night, the entire night. She was the best of the entire, and that's only according to her standards as the best she can be. Not to say she was excellent, but considering her past and how she's been in the past and the expectations of her, and considering how divisive um the whole party thing is, and she actually probably spoke the most facts, and she probably spoke the most genuine. Not to say that she was all about facts, because anytime she talked good of her husband, we all know that was a lie. But she was genuinely talking. She was the only person the whole time to address, to talk about the pandemic and to give her condolences and her sympathy to the people. So to me, that was the most first lady she's been. We haven't seen a president yet, but she was. And him, on the other hand, I did talk about how they kept saying, oh, he's gonna escort her out, and they kept building it up that he's gonna escort his wife out, which I don't understand why. And then even they were shocked that he came walking down the Grand Way, all the Gateway or whatever you want to call it, all by
Yeah,
himself. And as he came talking by himself, this all he was doing for himself, just clapping it up for himself as he walked. And I'm like, yeah, you finna speak or she finna speak? Who finna speak? And then she came out where she took her place and he sat down, and I think that he was actually offended of some of the stuff she said because she gave people
mm,
her sympathy and her condolences, and this all he did was sit with his arms folded. He never said like, yes, that's my wife. Even
right.
their kiss, Even their kiss was ingenuine. She leaned in to kiss him when she got up to speak. He turned and gave the lady his cheek. Like he was
Wow, I
afraid his
missed that.
daughter or somebody might get offended. I mean,
Mm.
I just thought that was just crazy. That was the part that was most ingenuine. You could tell it was a disconnect. And it just seemed like he was not happy about what she either said or he might have known what she was gonna say. And it was not gonna be in a line with what he really wanted her to say. Now we're not gonna
Mm.
talk about how she looked, cause her stiffness, that's just who she is. But I think she did the best that she could do, considering who she was.
I'm leaving that up there. It, I did notice the kiss. I did notice the kiss. I was trying to find it, but I did notice that the kiss didn't necessarily seem to be too genuine. And these are everything is about optics. Everything is about, not show but optics. When you're looking at when the American public is looking at the first family, they're trying to get a picture of what that should be like. Again,
Absolutely.
being a first family, not of a country, but of a church. Optics is everything. Not to say that you have to be false, but there's something that people are looking at, and people are noticing everything that you do. And it just appears to me that there's something going on there. There's something that she definitely tries. She tries to be genuine. She tries to be loving. I'm sure they try to get her to work on that, and it just appears that Trump has a problem with it. When she's trying to speak to the needs of the society. That's the kiss. That's the kiss or
Oh
the
wow.
smooch heard around the world or not
But
seen around the world.
she
You know,
wanted to kiss him, and he pushed her to the side to kiss her face to face, like he didn't want to mess up his makeup or something.
and one of the things that I one, one of the things that I'm noticing is that I haven't even heard, and this just dawned on me. And guys, if I missed it, you let me know. I haven't even heard a rally about voting. I haven't heard a rally about, you know, maybe those that may be on the fence, i.e., some black folks who they claim to be trying to target. I haven't really heard a cry out to them.
Well,
I don't think that they are speaking to America. I think they're just speaking to their base. This is what
well,
I'm
Trump
hearing.
Trump tweeted about vote when he said all the things that Biden did and that's so offensive, and then he ended with just vote November, whatever, just vote. He ended it like that after he talked about all the stuff
And
Biden
when
was
I mean
so.
vote, I mean go register. This is the time where you try to get
Oh
new
no.
people. This is what I mean.
No.
New voters, new people,
Mm-mm.
fresh energy. He's just placating to his base. And I
Yeah.
understand this is a Republican National Convention, but as Nikisha said, at least the Democrats seem to want to talk to America and America's issues. Now, they can't help that a lot of America's issues, which they are American issues, unfortunately, a lot of people don't like it. But they did attempt to bring up some names and bring up some instances, such as the coronavirus. I think she was the only one that spoke about that. You would not
Yeah.
know that the coronavirus existed listening to the speakers thus far. You wouldn't have
Well,
known.
Trump acknowledged the coronavirus when he acknowledged the first responders. But if you saw, there was no diversity in them first responders, and most of the first responders are us. And all his people that he honored as a first responder, and he pretty much was like, "Well, what do you do?" Like he really wasn't even interested. It's
Right.
like they had to tell him and talk to him, and he was like, "Oh, y'all know whatever they call it." He kind of offended them. These people are working. They know what it's called. They articulate. They're educated enough to know what it's called. And he's like, "Oh, y'all know the China virus or all those names that I have for it." It's like he just always come across as like he's so awkward. Like he's in an awkward position with the way he talk and the way he address stuff. He puts himself out there to just look stupid.
Agreed.
And there are other things that I'm seeing. Again, lack of diversity is very key. I'm not seeing any diversity in this. I'm seeing some black people, but I'm not seeing diversity. One of the speakers that spoke happens to be the attorney general. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But even this is an opportunity. This is an opportunity for them to even discuss what's happening now.
But that's what the Republicans do. They don't talk about it. Whenever something happens that's now, whether it's a shooting or something, their favorite phrase is, it's not the time. Now it's not the time. But they don't offer something to contrast that. They just say it's not the time. Because to them, the time is whatever their agenda is at the time. Like I'm waiting to see tonight with the shooting and stuff that happened last night and the other stuff going on. I'm waiting to see if somebody would even come out and give their condolences to the families of is his name Jacob, to Jacob and the other people that got killed in conjunction to that. I'm just waiting to see, even if they're not sincere, if they would just go through the motion of acknowledging that. But I doubt it, because they're not acknowledging that thousands of people have died.
People
they
done
won't
died.
even acknowledge that. So they're not gonna worry about one that don't matter.
Speaking of what's happening in Wisconsin, because of the shooting that took place a few days ago, the NBA decided, the Milwaukee Bucks decided that they would forfeit their game tonight, boycott their game tonight, and others against the Orlando Magic. Other teams in solidarity with the Milwaukee Bucks have decided that they won't play tonight either. Just like anything else, just like with the flag, there are several people that are angry about this. They're saying that they shouldn't do it. What's the point? Is it going to get better? What's going to happen? There's a conflict. If those who have followed sports, they will understand and realize that during this time, the NBA players were conflicted about whether they wanted to play based upon what happened in the George Floyd situation. They decided they would come together and make a statement with Black Lives Matter. So they have been playing with that statement. Each player has been wearing different paraphernalia. They have statements on the back of their jerseys. But the Milwaukee Bucks decided that we're not going to play tonight. Someone said, why now? Why 3 days later? I personally feel it wasn't about necessarily the shooting, but I think what has taken place after the shooting, I think the Milwaukee Bucks was conflicted. They're conflicted with, should they play? Should they entertain during this time? Should they? I mean, Kimberly, what do you think? What's the stance as the NBA? What do you think they should do?
I think whatever they do, I'm here for it. For the simple fact that they've been getting criticized the whole time. And they've been getting criticized saying that, oh, stick to basketball. The lady from Fox, shut up and dribble, and things like that. Well, we take a stance on a lot of stuff. And a lot of times, like the protest, we do something and then we over it, and then it don't carry on, or we don't keep it up. And so stuff goes back to normal. So they're taking a stance during an interesting time when the world is already still, and many people are looking to the NBA for entertainment. That's what a lot of people are mad about, because I listen to sports radio a lot. They're just mad because it's like, we want to see basketball. Some people mad that they even got statements. They was like, oh, we hear this all day, we hear that all day, we should turn on and see basketball. Well, they make a lot of money to have that platform. And the bottom line is, they've been, I don't want to say they slaves to the NBA, but they're being used in a manner to make money. So you turn around and you use your platform that's making somebody else money kind of your own. I'm not saying I don't really like fully agree with it, but I don't really disagree with it. I just don't have a problem with it. I'm kind of neutral, because people take stands on how they want to spend their money. So they could take a stand on how they want to represent their money. So I'm cool with it.
Brandon says I'm confused by, and I think that's why I'm thinking the timing of it has something to do with what happened last night. I'm not sure, not they haven't made a statement yet, so
Well,
this is
LeBron
just
did.
conjecture. But
It
I'm
wasn't a
thinking
good one
that
though.
because of the rioting in the street and based upon what this young man did, and we're going to talk about that last night, I'm thinking that they're using this as a good time to say, let's just hit the pause button. We don't know what to do. But Nikisha, let me ask you this: teacher strike, pilot strike, postal workers have strike. A lot of people strike, and people are cool with it. But when NFL players or basketball players, for whatever reason, choose to strike, boycott, when they do it for money, some people get upset because they can't get their sports, but they're not as upset. But when they do it for political reasons or social justice, everybody goes into a frenzy. What do you think about that? Is that a double standard? Do they have the
Well,
right to protest as athletes?
Well, in my opinion, I think for their particular platform, I think depending on whatever the stance is, they should have the right. We're all entitled to, our freedom of speech. And if their platform allows it and is not hurting anyone, then I feel like they should be allowed to do it. As First Lady said, we all get into the stance of we do it while it's hot. And then soon as everything goes to silence, nothing never comes back up. So we're all good while it's hot, but no one continues to keep it going. So nothing ever gets resolved in those issues. So I'm okay with the stance of boycotting. I'm all for it, especially with their different platform. And if it's positive, I feel like with them, certain athletes have positive background, so it gets more people to stand up, but it never goes anywhere. So this will be just something that is started, but nothing never finishes. So we'll still be back at square one once this is out of the news.
Well, let's look at the video real quick, guys, and we're going to talk about why I feel these players and other people are really mad at this.
Get my son. Come here, TJ. You are bogus. This bogus. Mom, get back. Mom, you have to get back.
Wow.
Oh, Jesus.
So
Yeah, I know that's the first time I saw it.
I missed some of it. But...
So let's talk about, there's an investigation going on. So we're going to just talk about what we see. Well, it's important to kind of maybe talk about what happened before. And the problem, not the problem, but, unfortunately in situations like this is why I think body cams are so important. I think at this point, every police officer that's going to a call just needs to have a body cam. Because we see a young man going to his car with an officer with a pointed gun. Now, the witnesses have said the officers arrived there for a domestic. Somebody was fighting. We don't know if it was him fighting. Some suggested that he was breaking up the fight. Some suggested that the police had to tase this young man. But nevertheless, when we see the video, he's quote unquote resisting, retreating, going to his car. The gun is already pointed at him as he's going to the car. He goes inside of the car. Now, from what I see, he doesn't have time to do much. It seems as if soon as he goes in his car, their shooting starts. Some may say he's reaching for something. I don't even see where he had time to reach. They haven't said whether a gun has been found yet, but unless the gun If the gun was in the glove compartment, I still don't see a reason to shoot. If the gun was behind the seat, I don't see a reason to shoot. You know why? Because from what we just saw, he didn't have time to go get very much. Unless it was in the pocket of the door. And the police saw that gun, it doesn't appear that shots should have been fired. Now, some are mad because they're saying that we're defending, black people are upset because of this guy's supposedly had a record. Now, again, we don't even know that the police was there for him. So, especially if they were not there for him, his record doesn't even matter because they didn't know all this when they shot him. And even if they were there for him and they knew he had a record, based upon everything that we saw, there's reasonable doubt to suggest that shots should have been fired. Black people are mad because it seems as if we no longer have the right to get arrested. Disobedience, in my opinion, and guys who are watching this, should not be a death sentence. If the police was telling him to stop and he did not stop, I still don't think that's a death sentence. Even if he gets away, find him, chase him, whatever. But my question is, why doesn't it appear that the first resort for black folks is gunshots? I believe that's why we're mad. Black people hardly ever get mad because somebody gets arrested. We don't say y'all ain't had no business arresting him. We say we don't have reason to be murdered or to be shot 7 times in the back. Ladies, have at it.
I'm real baffled, but the thing that baffles me the most is why is the color of our skin such a threat? I've seen it so many times played out where a white man has an AK-47, a rifle, and the police, all shades of color, do whatever they need to do to apprehend him and lives. But for us, I've seen it countless numbers of times along with you guys where we could just be walking away or just doing anything with our hands up and we were caused to be murdered. So I'm really baffled. Like we're literally a target no matter what we do. If you put your hands up, you get on your knees, you surrender, you're still subject to probably being murdered. For what reason? So I don't know if we've been talking about police brutality and murders for months now. I just don't know when does it end? Like when is enough enough? I'm just so baffled. I can't even believe this is still happening. I don't know.
You know, whenever she starts sitting like that, she's really
that mind wondering.
She's trying not to give us the expletive version. But go ahead.
I mean, I really don't know much about the story. I've been under a rock, really. So that was my first time really seeing the video, and then my computer glitched. So I really didn't see all of it. But I was already offended by the little bit I did see. But my whole thing goes back to, I think a lot has to do with timing. And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad thing, but you notice the Republican convention was this week, and all this stuff popped off. And you see where the target is at, like you would not even know. And then last week was the Democrat convention, and I don't want to say it was calm and all of that, but we talked and did, and some stuff was talked about. But it just really, it's a wake up call to America. These people don't care about you. In the midst of a cop shooting a young person in the back, we're not going to even talk about the 17-year-old that went out.
Yeah, we will talk about it, but go ahead.
I'm talking about right now, vigilante style. Even the pandemic, all the stuff, the numbers on the rise with the pandemic, all this stuff is coming out like wide talked about spread. The week of the Republican convention. And all they could talk about is how we need to be scared that Joe want to do this, Joe want to do that, Joe, sleeping Joe this. That's all they talking about. But, and on top of that, they have people on TV and they're doing their conventions talking about how Joe want to change the gun laws and stuff.
Take our guns.
Take our guns from us. But this is what's happening. Look at what y'all doing to the guns. So, like Nikisha say, she's shocked it's happening. I'm not shocked that it's happening because the leadership we have right now is giving away to it's happening. You know, he's not out there holding the guns, but I remember some of the shootings and the things that happened when Obama was in office, the Kansas City and other shootings. He didn't necessarily, I mean, he came out, he gave his condolences. He spoke as a leader, not a one-sided leader, but a neutral leader. He didn't, and all we doing is pardoning. All Trump doing is having a convention where he pardoning people. All of a sudden he's okay with immigrants. Let's give them citizenship. Let's salute frontline workers. Oh yeah, by the way, what's your job? We don't even know what your job is. Oh yeah, what you fighting for the China? He don't even know nothing. And he's showing us to our face on national TV how ignorant he really is. And we're not even talking about it because we keep getting other stuff to talk about. And we're not even mad that he's not talking about it. Nobody's mad that he's not talking about it. More people are taking attack at the people that talked about the real issues and not even mad about the person that's not talking about it, the real true leader. Because most of the stuff he's talking about Joe this, Joe that. Joe has never been president. He's talking about this man like he been the president and he never did these things. All they keep saying is he tried to be the president 3 times and this happened. But he's never been the president. He's never been able to put a pen on a paper as a leader of the free world and sign to say, stop this, do this, don't that. So the fact that they're attacking him off of the coulda, shoulda, maybe, possibly, when you ain't dealing with the right now in the is a big, big problem. But anyway, go ahead. I can't.
Well, they're not gonna talk about it because it's not affecting them. It's us. It's us. So of course they're not gonna address it. It's us. Maybe
but
if you maybe
an invitation
a black
to
guy.
And I mean,
a black guy that shot up a store, maybe a white store, then maybe they would, be worth talking about it to say, hey, this crazy black guy done shot up a Target and killed 100 white people. Maybe the narrative would be different, but it's us. And
we don't see that narrative. We hardly ever see the narrative where, again, remember I said we don't get the right to be arrested.
Agreed.
Remember I said that. We're not saying don't bother us if we do something wrong. We deserve the right to get arrested. We deserve the right to be chased. Listen, I'm gonna make this statement because it's a true statement. And I'm gonna make it and then I'm gonna show you something. Again, as we said before, I believe, call it the coward way out, I believe that if you're a black person, just stop. Call it a slave mentality, but we're going to call you a lie. Stop. Just comply. Get through the situation, okay?
But that's not true.
You can,
that's not happening in most scenarios.
No. What I'm saying is, if you're engaged, some are saying we don't know we don't know if he was retreating. We don't know if the report says that he was breaking up the fight. Brandon raised a question. It would be nice to know why they were following him to the car if that was the case. It would be nice to know that. Was he a part of the fight? Was he breaking up the fight? Those are the things that we do not know. Again, as we said earlier, nothing I saw says that he should have been shot.
But my thing is,
because they're saying that he got tased. So that's the part that's kind of crazy to me. If he was breaking up the fight, why would he get tased? Maybe they didn't know who was fighting. Maybe they didn't know. Maybe when they got on the scene, they just saw scuffling and they started tasing. That's the part that none of us know. I don't know. But what I'm saying is this. and I'm saying this for a reason. Police officers don't have a right to retreat, right? They don't. They can confront. That's their right to confront. But I'm gonna tell you why black people are mad. They have the right to confront. They have the right to confront. They do. But this is why black people are mad, because of stuff that we're seeing now. Here's a guy being arrested. He ain't complying. He fussing. He fighting. Gun is drawn.
And he going home.
And is drawn. He ain't complying. He walking away. He walking away. He slammed the door in the officer's face. He going after the officer. The officer is hauling that. I mean, the officer is running.
That's crazy.
He hit the officer. He hits the officer.
And my
Right?
main thing is
The officer, he running. He gets in the officer's car.
Shut up.
He gets in the officer's car, gets out the officer's car, gets in his car,
You don't know what?
and drives away. So,
and
I'm done
if
for
the
the night.
rules are you don't comply, or we got to chase you, you get shot. If those are the rules, we can accept the rules if everybody playing the same game. That's the problem black people are having. It appears that everybody is not playing the same game. We are there, or we are playing by a different set of rules. You don't get out the car fast enough, we shoot you. Walter Scott running away. He hauling tail down the road. He gets shot down like a sniper. We're not playing by the same set of rules. Go ahead, Kimberly.
no, I'm mad because every time these things happen, the only defense they ever have is I fear for my life. That be every case. I haven't seen one yet where they say the officer feared for his life. Well, first of all, do what you do when people fear for their life. Run. Okay? I don't saw plenty of horror movies. The white people run in the horror movies. They the first ones to run. So won't you do what you do? Just like black people, we fear for our life. So what do we do when they be coming for us? Most of them run. And that cost them their life. So do what you do when you fear for your life. Run. Don't answer the call. Right.
And the problem I have, and the problem most black people have, is we could play those tapes on a loop. Like, it's a lot of story. It's a lot. We've seen officers. We played several of them. One's getting chased by a machete. One doing this. Here in North Miami, a man, he had his hands up in the air and got shot. In North Miami, black guy. The officer asked, "Why would you shoot me?" He's there trying to protect the autistic child. Had his hands up blocking the child so the police won't shoot him. And they came for the autistic child and end up shooting the black man. And the man asked the question, why? Oh, it wasn't a child, it was a guy. Why you shot me? And the guy said he don't know.
Well, good thing it wasn't a black child. He would have shot the man and the child.
So what I'm saying is, that's what I'm saying. It's different officers, but we're seeing the same scenario. So it's something within the fabric. Because if we're saying, this officer in Connecticut did this officer in Miami did this, but we're all seeing it go the same way, something is wrong with that. And that's what black people are saying. Because you know what? There's no videos of black men chasing white cops. There's no videos of black men shooting up stuff and getting away with it. We want to welcome our guest from last week. She's hopping on there with us. You could jump right on in. But what black people are seeing is the optics is not right. Too many unarmed black men. Too many black men who are trying to get away, even if they're trying to get away. But every single time,
It ends up
they're getting shot. every single time. Every single time. Just like last night. Mr. Kyle. He comes to the protest. He lives 30 miles away. He comes, does his job, shoot up people. He gets to run. All of a sudden, he runs. Nobody can catch him. He goes another 60, I think, or 90 miles away. He go back get in his bed. Nobody seen to catch him. Tanisha, you just hopped on. You. What you got to say? Help me out.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Kimberly. Hey, Nakisha. Hey, Pastor A, and hey, Brandon online. It was so horrible. I'm so upset, and I'm mad because other people are not so mad. I don't know. It could be just me and my emotions. But the fact that this same person, just like what they did with Black Lives Matter when they were protesting, now people can really see that, okay, really it was some people that was in the midst, and he's one that's proven that's in the midst of protesters. They've always been, those people, militant people or anarchy people in the midst of those who are protesting. And, what he did was horrible. You come to kill our people. That's what I'm so mad about. You understand what I'm saying? And then some people just not outraged. Why you come, you coming to kill our people? That was basically your intentions, to drive 30 miles or 40 miles or wherever he was at, to come down there, to walk in the midst, to kill, and then you actually you ain't even run. You walk past the police tanks, 2 of them, and a car. You in the middle of the road. No one said anything to you. Now, wish that if there had been somebody of color, everybody would have jumped out. You have this rifle on you. I don't know if it's a right to bear.
It's an open carry state. It is,
or whatever. But I don't know if they can carry 17. That type of gun.
He's 17.
And 17, he looked like he was 17 with the Crocs on, because all 17-year-olds, my daughter, they wear Crocs. Exactly. And then, you leave, and then they get you, and it's like no outcry, no, I'm so glad, you guys, I missed it. I was trying to log in, but I'm so glad that the NBA, I really am, even though, Brandon, I told you, even if it is 3 days later, I'm still proud that they are boycott, because what they're trying to say is, let's take the focus off of us of entertainment, and let's put it on what it should be, and it should be on there, not
because
take away from.
I think that they're doing it because of this. I think this was the tipping point. I think that last night was the tipping point, because again, the optics of it. This guy going in his car, gets shot in the back. This other guy shoots somebody, kills 2 people, and he gets to walk away. It's hard to function like that when you see that. Again, give us the right to be arrested, or let this young man. We don't condone murder or violence, but this young man, based upon what happens to black folks, there's nowhere in the world this young man here should be breathing right now. I'm just saying.
He wasn't gonna run. He couldn't have ran far. Look at him. He didn't run.
He did like this.
Where was he gonna run?
He did. The fact that he didn't want to be killed. He put his hands up.
He's a Nicholas Cruz, Dylan Roof, all these guys all wrapped in one. It's the same narrative. It's the same thing. These guys get arrested. I mean, think about Nicholas Cruz. This man, how many people he killed? 17? They ain't even had his trial yet. They haven't even, he's barely gone to court yet. We follow what I'm saying? They get a chance to live. They get a chance to live off the taxpayer dollars. They get a chance to file for motion of continuance. They get to do all of that. And we get sent home in a body bag for reaching, for driving in top. These things, again, the optics of it looks bad. There's no way. How could he get away?
I'm trying to understand what's this open carry. He's 17. There's no open carry for 17. That's what we missing. He's 17 years old.
Well, every state is different. He might have, I mean, for some, it's 18. It's probably, listen, in these hick towns, I wouldn't be surprised if 16 was the legal age to carry guns.
I don't know.
It's 16. But he's part of this militia group and I don't have to go into. I wish I could. I bring it up, but guys, Google it. You know, the militia group, and I really wanted to put on the show. Forgive me. Email. I'm not making this up. You can Google this. Email the chief of police and ask, could they come in to quote unquote assist so they won't be outnumbered. This militias group.
The
You know what they
vigilantes,
sound like?
that's what they were.
You know what they sound like?
That's what they call them, but it's not.
But you know what they sound like, Tanisha, to me, these groups? You know what they remind me of? The Black Panthers. You know the Black Panther group that when they formed and they was protecting Malcolm X and all that, everybody said, you know, called them all type of names and all type of that. But if you black and walking around with AR-15 rifles and strapped and all that, it's a problem. But if
Well,
you're
it's
not
the
black,
words that how they describe us and how they describe them. To them, they're gonna say a young teenager vigilante, or they're gonna use certain words, and then as opposed to, you know, if it was one of us,
thug.
Right in the street. It's just how they try to put our mindset, like, oh, and then one guy. Let me tell you this. Hold up, Kim. One guy. Okay, I gotta stop going back and forth people on Facebook. So one dude was like, well, it was self-defense, black dude. I said, and I hope he's listening because I shared this. How was it self-defense? Oh, because they came towards him, so it's self-defense for him to fire. I said they came towards him because he just shot somebody, and they said this is the guy. So you mean to tell me they can't do a citizen's arrest? I don't know, Brandon. Let me know.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. This guy is strapped. He got gloves on. He got his hat turned backwards. This was kill of somebody day. That's what it was to him. This guy came. You don't drive 30 miles with a. First of all, you got an AR-15. You know what that's made for? Hunting. He was hunting. He was looking for somebody to shoot and kill. You don't drive that far. Just again, this group emailed the chief of police and said, don't give us a curfew. We're asking you. Please Google this. God, I wish I had time to show it to y'all. Please don't give us a curfew. We will help you take care of these people. That's what the email said. They said, because last night you told us to go home. This night, please, we're asking you. Let us help you.
They can't do that without training. I'm going to give you guys something. Right now, Miami Police Department, they're doing a training for the Circle of Brotherhood. I may be saying it wrong, Circle of Brotherhood down there in Miami, which is an organization. At this moment, today and maybe another day, they're doing helping them train, Brandon. So if there's are situations that say Miami-Dade that they're equipped, to help and assist. Not to arrest, not to take down, not to, shoot, that type of thing. But also now when you in those, because I've lived in those southern places, South Carolina, Alabama, around this time of year, I'm sorry, police department who's on here, they call it hunting season. That's exactly what they call it. Because of they say, people, the hunting season, that's just what they call it until wintertime.
Well, I don't understand how they tried to act like they didn't know who it was and who got and who shot, and they knew good and well what was going on. He need to go to jail. Mama need to go to jail. Whoever his guardian, all of them need to go to jail. It need to be a lot of charges on who need to go to jail and what need to happen.
Let me tell you something.
Need to be in place, but
if you want to be disgusted, hashtag his name. If you wanna vomit over yourself, hashtag his name on Facebook and Twitter, and you will read some of the most disgusting comments you will not think you were in America. I made the mistake and did that today, and I really almost cried to the point of way to go, good job, should have got more, why somebody should have helped you. Oh, why y'all let a 17-year-old do the job that y'all should have done? He's so brave. He's so strong. That's what they deserve. That's what happened. You're supposed to kill. Listen to me.
But
All of this stuff about progress, as Kimberly said, I think it's a divine correlation between what's happening in this NRC convention going on right now. That I've put on my Facebook page. It just seemed like we just watching a good old-fashioned Klan rally, to be honest.
Yes, because everything they talk about the protesters, they haven't said nothing positive about protesters. But when they talk about guns, they talk about freedom of speech. They have yet to say one thing. When they put that couple on there that was holding the gun at the protesters, they called the people the mob. And then they put black people on there. The guy from Georgia who talk about Biden is the Democrats are just trying to keep us blacks living in a plantation. Who says that as a black person? Like, you black and you in politics and you say stuff like blacks in the plantation and you from Georgia. Like, come on, people.
This
And
stand
nobody
your
took
ground,
offense to that.
self-defense bullshit stuff
hey
is
now.
so offensive because Trayvon couldn't defend himself.
No, at all.
You know, the lady, God, I forgot her name, in Jacksonville, who was trying to defend herself and shot warning shots in her own garage. She spent almost 10 years in jail.
Right, I remember that.
So we're
And
talking
she
about
never got pardoned.
right. You know, yeah. These laws, man, the laws again. These laws are in place. That's what I talk about with the police. We respect the rules, but the rules are not being, you know, processed for everybody. I guarantee you, a black man with an AR-15 rifle could get spit on, slapped on, shot at. If he shoots somebody,
Dead.
he gonna be dead.
Well, you know,
I can promise you that. And I promise you he won't get 30 miles. I can promise you that.
He could be skinny as JJ, not even plump like that guy.
So these laws are just one. Justice may be blind, but it ain't colorblind. I'm telling you that right now. These laws are on the books, and the reason why they don't want to remove these laws from the books, and they never will, stand your ground and other laws, because the laws are working the way they want them to work. They got to keep those laws in place because these people like Mr. Kyler needs a defense. This is his defense. But the problem is black people can't use this as a defense. That is the problem. Again, this is why it's important to vote not just for the president. You got to vote for attorney general. You got to vote for state attorneys. You got to vote for people that are committed to get these unfavorable laws off the books, or at least make sure that they're working on both sides. Because I promise you, brothers and sisters, you and I don't have the right to defend ourselves.
Yeah, I was going to say, actually, what I was going to say is just what you said. The laws are to benefit those and others of a white Caucasian race. I'll just go ahead and say that straight up. It's to benefit them. You know, this young man got arrested. He's a hero, like you said, a hashtag. So when he goes in the prison system, you know, he's a hero to the white supremacy group. You know, you know,
he's got a GoFundMe page right now.
Yeah, he feels good. You know, his account is gonna always be there because that's the kind of people that they want to support. They want to, if I get one or two or three, you know, we're doing our job. We're putting fear in them. We're gonna make them stop. Black Lives Matter. We're gonna make them stop. You know, protesting. This is not the time to stop. I don't think
I don't have a problem with the NBA. With the NBA doing what they want to do, because y'all want to be entertained. They giving y'all entertainment. Get on board with the Black Lives Matter. I don't care, all lives matter, whatever, but just get on board with something. We ain't shutting up and dribbling. That's what they trying to tell y'all. That's what y'all telling them to do, shut up and dribble. They're not going to do that. And I hope the NFL get on board if they have a season.
I really feel bad for the players because they're conflicted. They really are. They're trying to figure out.
Already paid.
But that's what taking a stance is all about.
But what I'm
Right.
saying is they're conflicted because they understand the optics of this. They understand that there may be long-term repercussions. And then watch this, they're internally conflicted. Because there are some guys that are saying, listen, we're in this bubble. If we take ourselves out of the spotlight, then we lose our platform. We got a whole court. We're playing on a Black Lives Matter court. If you watch it, even if you don't watch it, every highlight, everything is going to display this. So if we get off the court, we're losing our platform. So there's a conflict there within the Players Association. They're having a meeting tonight to discuss, do we keep playing? How long is this boycott gonna last? All of these things are, and then here it is now. What happens the next time this happens? See, this is where the NBA stands and the NFL stands is a slippery slope. I'm just playing another side advocate here, because do we do this every time? You follow what I'm saying? Right or wrong, how can we continue to, if something happens tomorrow, if something happens next week, do we boycott again? This is where, again, while I respect what they're doing is fine, it's going to take more than them to make an difference, because they can't do this every time. It's happening too much.
I think if it happened again, they should do it again.
But how
And I
long
agree
before
with.
you
I
just say
agree.
they
I
can't?
agree,
But the
Kim.
problem, that sounds
I
good in
agree.
theory,
Hold up, Pastor
But why
A.
but
they
they can't
can't?
do
Why?
it again. They can't.
But
They
why?
can't
Yes, they
just not
can.
ever play
Yes,
again.
they.
That's
They
the
can
I'm
do it
not
problem.
talking
again and
about
again
not
and
ever.
again.
But I'm
They're
saying
not
why
gonna
they in
listen.
that
Listen to
bubble.
me. Listen to me. I'm telling you right now. There's no way in the world I would advocate taking food off of your table.
Most of them already paid.
No. We're talking about long term. I'm talking about next year and the year after that. You can't continue to ask one group of people to continue to take food off their table, because that's
Listen,
not fair to them.
listen. Okay, you said your point. But listen, they can do that again and again, even next year, because one, they're the most entertained when it comes to NFL, NBA. They're making money, and guess 75%, 80% of those guys are black. They're us who's out there. They're us who being
Well,
killed
no,
out there.
they can't
So
do
I
it
can
again because they got
understand and see
owners.
how they feel, but they can do it again. That'll let them know. That means y'all need to do something. So they're doing it, and other people or other groups or other organizations need to join in with them. That's all they need, is other people to join in with them. Maybe they'll stop all this foolishness. Maybe it'll take that to stop
But
all
let
this
me ask you a
foolishness, other
question.
than
Let me
us,
ask you a
just
question.
other people or other media that's coming out or saying let's stop, and the police department and all that other stuff. There is those things that pay the most money is hitting into their pockets. Yeah, it's hitting in their pockets. It ain't hitting in their pockets right now, but it's hitting the big people pockets who want them out there puppeteering on the basketball court and on the football field. Yeah, they should do it every time, because those people who are getting killed look just like you.
Well,
I think it's going to
let
be
me play an advocate for a moment, because here's a couple of things we got to think about when we think about athletes that we tend to forget. Every athlete is not LeBron James. There's
No.
some minimum wage athletes out there that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars, which for athlete ain't a lot of money. The average guy can make a couple of $100,000. Okay, that's number one. Number two, at some point, I'm talking about at some point, the owners doesn't need the team. These owners are not rich because they own the basketball player. They bought the team, which means they got money. So at some point, NFL, whatever sport you want to say, at some point, if the owners say enough is enough, if y'all want to do it, we'll just shut the league down. The question would be then, who wins?
They better save their money and budget.
But right now,
See what I'm saying? But again, what good would that do for me to do a Muhammad Ali, to do even a Colin Kaepernick, to risk my livelihood?
first of all, they're not going to shut the NBA down. They're not going to do that.
They'll do it in the NFL.
They'll do it in the NFL.
NFL.
I'm not talking about the NFL. I'm talking about the
NBA.
NBA. They went in that bubble for a reason. So I'm not saying do it indefinitely, but if they could push it 2-3 more games, push it 2-3 more games.
But
If you
that
already out
wasn't
there
my
taking a
question.
stand.
I know they could do it now, but what about next year? And what about another month? Something
But
else
I didn't
happens.
say next year. What me and Tanisha was saying, if you do it enough now, that you could
No.
start stuff rolling. That's what me and Tanisha was saying. You're doing it
My
now to
question
start
was,
stuff.
my question exactly was, could they do it again? What happens if it happens again? And
They do it
secondly,
again. You
what
gotta
would
realize
it
these
what
people,
would
artists and singers and whoever, and NBA stars and whoever, they are influencers. So they influence the law as well. They influence for us to even create change in law better than a politician will. So yeah, their presence does make sense for them to do what they do. And if it happened next year, I hope they do it again next year. That's right.
but what I'm saying is what
I know what you're saying.
let me ask this question. I ask it this way. Are we seeing results?
No,
We
Well,
don't
we
know
ain't
yet.
done it long enough to see
We don't know
results. We
yet.
don't know.
Thank you.
We
I'm
don't
gonna say
know.
no.
We don't know yet.
I'm gonna say no
Because
too.
we didn't see
right
it with
now, no.
Colin. We didn't see it
And-
with Colin.
But it didn't
And we didn't
happen
see it
with
with George
Colin. It was
Floyd
2,
either.
3 guys. But it was 2, 3 guys with Colin. We got a whole league doing it. But even if we don't see results, you can't see results like go and make a person do something. But you can see results where the mindset of people can start thinking, instead of promoting some of this other stuff that these people promoting on TV, they could promote more Black Lives Matter. It has to be a culture change. It's a beginning to a culture change.
But why give up your microphone? Why give up your microphone and platform to make a statement when you are given the microphone and platform? Again, you playing on a Black Lives Matter court, right? You're playing. The NBA has given you. You are wearing protesting paraphernalia. When you give that up in partiality, you're giving up your voice and your platform because now you're just sitting at home and tweeting. That's really all you were able to do at that point.
What the problem is, this matter. Money talk. So now your white owners gonna get on board and put some of their money where their mouth is. They got money that they give it to all kind of, that some of them supporting Trump. They gonna take that Trump money and roll it in, and they can begin to listen to you, and you can think on how to do some of that money and how to move and how to make some stuff happen.
Their money, listen to me. If Jerry Jones sell the Cowboys right now, he won't lose a dime. Mickey Arison, get rid of the Heat.
We not worried about him losing a dime, but he ain't gonna just jump up and sell it. He gonna think about it. And sometimes you gotta get people thinking to start changing their mind form, their mindset. You gotta start it somewhere.
I'm bringing the contrasting point of view. You ain't gotta yell at me. I'm just playing another side. I can't just have the show where all y'all thinking alike.
Yeah. So should we trade our life for them? That's what I'm saying. I'm not gonna trade my life for them. If that's
Jerry making money, right? Let him keep making
basketball or football, but I'm not gonna trade my life or my community. That's just me, for your pocket. And if you say, well, he's so mad, he wanna sell the thing or whatever, well, you do that. But we're gonna still stand up for justice. And those people, hold up, and those people who have boycotted, they feel the way I feel. They feel the way you feel. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they want to boycott. Yeah, I ain't got time for this. Yeah, y'all want to put me out here, all us black. We black. Yeah, we do need to stand up.
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing y'all keep missing. I'm gonna walk the financial path for you. If I'm playing a sport that's allowing me to say what I want, stand up for my rights, wear protests, wear paraphernalia, do every interview to talk about Breonna Taylor and whatever, and I'm getting paid millions of dollars that I can use to reinvest in my community, to help get folk elected, to buy a candidate and get them in office. Why would I?
We knew you were talking about putting it up on you.
Why would I give that up, lose money, don't get paid, when I still want to do the same thing? That's what the part I'm missing. Why not, almost like you would an investment, flip those dollars? See, what I'm really trying to say to y'all is this.
Instead of them going out walking as a protest, It's still a movement. It's still a boycott. It's
But
still a
here's what
movement.
y'all missing.
The
I didn't
boycott
throw
can
it
be
out there,
listen.
but it's an
Now you asked the
undertone.
question. You asked the question.
It's an
A boycott
undertone.
in different forms. It's still a movement. Even if I say, even if they're giving me all this, that's what you said, and I still want to boycott, even if they're giving me the opportunity to talk, to
The
do this,
movement need money.
on
The
court, to
movement
have it
need money.
highlighted in the stadium,
But look,
it's still a
even what
movement. That's still they saying we still a movement that our lives still matter. So what you giving us this platform? We just taking it a step further, and I'm glad they are.
So okay, so what happens again? What happens? Let's just say they cancel the season.
Oh Lord,
The
we had this
movement
question
needs
again.
money, huh?
You said the same question 3 times.
No. What I'm saying, y'all missing the underlining point.
No, we're not
What
answering
I'm
what you
saying
wanted to say.
is, outside of not playing the game, outside of not playing the game, is not playing the game enough. If they just don't play, they made a
We
statement,
don't
right?
know yet. Hopefully, it
No,
goes
no, no,
further.
no.
It's the
Well,
start.
yeah, but listen to me. These athletes, for the most part, I'm not talking about LeBron. It's about 5 athletes that's gonna take it further. It's about 5 of them. After that, they're not gonna take it further. They're just gonna not play.
But it
Okay.
don't matter. If the 5 that make the money take it, their money's still going down.
No. I'm
That
not
people
talking
gonna
about money.
tune
I'm
in.
talking about taking it further as far as making change. See, what most of y'all missing is the athletes they're not doing much beyond just not playing. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to see. Beyond
But
just
what?
not playing. It takes more than just not playing.
But that's what we're saying. You got to make a start. The start and the sacrifice come from
No,
not
no, no, no,
playing.
no, no,
And
no,
then
no, no.
what we're saying is they have to move forward and get some kind of mojo or something. But somewhere it got to start. That's all we're saying. We're not saying
Right.
we have the answers to what's next, what's tomorrow, what do they
Right.
do. Man, maybe they'll
Right.
look at this and call us in on the meeting, and me and Tanisha will go and hook them
Come
up.
on,
And then
girl.
we'll get paid to tell them
But
what's next. We
but
don't
that's what I'm
know.
trying to tell
But
y'all.
what we're saying is it has to be a start. And they're
But
And
off
they
to a good start. That's all we're saying. Because
that's
they
what
just
need
I'm
to
like
trying to
play
Uncle
get
their
y'all to
said,
money,
understand.
and they
See,
need
you
to
all
just
budget
like
think
their
that this
money
is
like everybody else.
they're not unified on this. That's what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. There's players right now that wanted to play. They're not unified on this. That's what the
of
part y'all
course.
missing. Y'all thinking they unified. They're
No,
not
we're not
unified.
thinking. No,
They're
we're not
players
No,
that
thinking
have
they're
absolutely
already.
not.
unified.
Not everybody. Of
Black
course
people
not.
ain't unified. White people ain't.
But
Nobody's unified on nothing. But it start with a start, and then you get a base, and you take the base that you got, add to that base, add to that base. No, the country not unified. So I don't expect these people in this bubble, because they in the bubble, to get unified. It might not get unified. We don't know. But what we're saying is we're commending where they start and to see where it comes, where it goes, and how it goes. They
and
might
I
shock
think you
their
all
own
are
self.
okay. So all right. I mean, y'all say I'm asking the same question. I'm not going. Okay.
Okay, auntie, listen, my auntie, I hear you, Pastor. Auntie, you need to
Be
hear me.
mindful of this concept because I'm not saying I understand it. You got to make a stand. I understand that. Again, there are a lot of people, man. When stuff like this happens, it's a lot of people that don't eat. It's a lot of people that don't eat. Just like in the pandemic, when them guys wasn't playing, a lot of those workers, I know it's
And
bigger than the
a lot of
athlete.
people around here still ain't eating. A lot of
I
people still don't have
understand
no
that.
jobs. A
But
lot of
what I'm
people are
saying
homeless.
is,
A lot of people are still in this line that I see every Wednesday in different places getting food. A lot of people are going to their communities asking for their bills to be paid. I mean, I
right.
hate to put them on the
So
pedestal.
A lot of people who
we're
getting
thinking
killed,
up,
children can't eat.
but we're thinking up, but we ain't necessarily always thinking down. What they do affects, it'll affect change, it'll affect all that, but it's easy for y'all to say, I haven't met a woman, including my wife, that's just gonna advocate taking money and food off of your table. Y'all can say that all you want because it ain't y'all family.
But
But
I'm
I can
not saying.
promise you, if I decided I'm gonna leave my church and leave my job to go out and fly, my wife would get off this and cuss me out.
You ain't had a
Okay?
cause that's worth doing it. Get a cause that's worth doing it.
But they
If it's
don't have a.
something that's
That's what I'm trying to
sacrificing,
say. They
but
don't have a cause.
if
They
it's
don't
something that's
have a
worth,
cause.
but
I'm
listen,
telling you.
my point is
They
they
gonna
made
be.
up. But
Okay.
listen,
So if
but
they play,
listen,
if they play
they've already said,
tomorrow, what good would it have done? If they play tomorrow, then there's some games tomorrow. If they play tomorrow, here's a dumb question. What would it have done? If they play tomorrow,
okay, but they
It
put
made a
Black Lives Matter
sacrifice.
on the
It was a
field.
start.
But they put Black Lives on the court. They got logos on their back. What good is doing? They did it. They did it. They opened it. Like OC said, everybody talking about the NBA. They ain't on TV tonight, but everybody's talking
Everybody's
about the
talking about it.
NBA. Everybody. And you click on anything right now, they're talking about the NBA not playing. They was talking about the NBA in the bubble. Nobody ain't got nothing to talk about right now anyway. But the pandemic, they ain't gonna talk about the convention. They taking if they might not be the movement, the ones that move, but they're motivated. Somebody gonna move off of that, and it may not be in your area, may not be in my area, but when people see little and they work it the right way, it become much at somewhere. Somebody gonna get something off of that somewhere. What I'm saying is they don't have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. If we had all the answers, Trump wouldn't be our president right now. Trump would have been impeached a long time ago, but we ain't stopped it. We ain't telling people don't go vote. He lost the appeal. Don't vote. Go ahead, put him back for 4 years. We gonna go vote, and if we don't win, what we gonna do? He won. Why are we telling people go vote? We want to start to a change. That's what we're doing. We're telling people go. Why are we telling people to go vote? What difference is gonna make? We sound like the people that what difference is gonna make?
That's not about voting.
I understand
that's a different conversation.
I understand what you're saying, Kimberly. It's the same thing. We're trying
why we do anything that we do. Why we do anything. We don't know, but somebody got to be the start to something. And even if it don't end with them, it started with them, it's going to start somebody from something. That's how stuff works. It go full circle. One little link here, one little link there, one little link there. That's all they want is a conversation. They might come back and play tomorrow. They might come back and play next week. 10 years from now, it's still going to be Colin Kaepernick, still going to be talked about. Even though his change might not come to 10 years from now.
So you're saying that let's just put an example on this. If every NBA player right now who's choosing to do this becomes a Colin Kaepernick and lose everything, we good with that?
I didn't say I'm good with it. It's their choice.
I'm asking a yes or no question. I'm asking.
Okay, so Brandon said about awareness.
If they
choose to do it, listen, if they choose to do it, if that's what they choose, I'm saying I'm good with it. I'm good with they choose to boycott.
I'm supporting it, right.
That's their choice. I'm supporting them. I'm not going to condemn them. Just like you got to make a decision for your house, they got to make a decision for their house. People fight for stuff that I don't agree with all the time. People have where they don't eat for 5-6 days, and I don't see the purpose of that. Then they start back eating again. What change did they get?
They brought awareness. They did the bubble thing to bring awareness.
That's want to bring awareness to that.
That's it.
But they brought awareness. They did something. Think about it.
Awareness.
Yeah.
The fact that they was in this bubble and this happened.
You probably want to see them, all of that. But I'm up there. You know, we're gonna all have. That's why we have these platforms. We have media platforms. I'm glad we have Black media that's on live and YouTube. If you see us, but we're gonna always have a difference of opinion. Now, your opinion, Pastor A, is your opinion. Now, you can't bring that on Tanisha, and I see good and well you can't bring it on Kimberly. Maybe some of the people that's out there, Miss OC, Monty, Shirley, a couple other of them, they like go brother. But unfortunately, I got a side on this side here because even though will it be long term, we don't know, Brandon. It could be, but the awareness of bringing it to the awareness, everything we do, we try to bring to awareness. We try to bring voters to awareness. We try to bring suppression to awareness. We try to bring how people treat us to awareness. We try to bring everything. Everything in this world is always end up to be a black and white issue, and we're always at the short end of the stick, and we're tired of it. We're tired of being killed. We're tired of being murdered. We're tired of being hunted. And I'm all for the police department. I was a part of law enforcement. Y'all might even know I'm all for it. Blue Lives Matter. Yes, they do. I believe in it. Go home safe. Go home alive. I agree with that. But when
Who
something
else
like
should do it?
this
Who
happens,
else should take a stand?
yeah.
We don't
But
know.
when things
Whoever
happen,
feel
yeah,
that
we
they
just
should. The more the merrier. I'm saying we're not gonna stop or talk down or talk about nobody. Why are the Black Lives Matter? Brandon says, what's the clear goal? What's the clear goal on when people went out there during the pandemic talking about Black Lives Matter? What's the clear goal? When people take a stand, unless you got the money and the power to say Papa Juan and say, you do this, you do this, you do this. What's always gonna be your clear stand? You could take if as a classroom teacher,
But he
my
right,
clear stand.
yeah. Every strike they strike for a reason. Now, teachers strike for personal reasons. But what I'm saying is, here's the sad indictment. Here's the sad indictment that we don't want to hear, because again, they didn't create the bubble. They created the bubble for the pandemic, but they made the bubble a Black Lives movement because of George Floyd, because of Breonna Taylor. That's why they got what they got, and now this happened. And guess what? Just as sure as we sitting here, it's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen again. It's gonna happen probably 20 more times before 2021.
well,
And that's the
hopefully that doesn't
reality of
happen.
it.
And
That is the
see, I'm
reality
gonna tell
of
you
it. So
something.
if every time this happens, see, it's like a child. Once you play your full hand, so this is the hand they choose to play. That's fine. We're not debating that they have the right to do it, but this is the stance. So now they got to decide how often and when we're gonna take this stance. So that's where I'm coming from. That was my original question, whether
But
y'all
listen to
believe it or
this.
not. Y'all ain't
I
answer
believe,
it, but that was
but
my
we
original
did
question.
answer it.
We
We
did not
did
give you
answer
what you
it.
wanted
We
to
don't
hear.
have the
We
power to
answered it.
say it, right? We didn't say what you wanted to hear, but we
We
don't
did.
have a
No, I just
wand.
didn't hear an answer. It's not. I don't
Yes, you
have what
did.
I want to hear. I just
Well,
asked
the
a question,
answer,
and
let
y'all
me
didn't
ask you
necessarily,
this.
huh?
Okay, well, we're going to agree to disagree. You got 2 against 1 that your question was answered. So we're going to agree to disagree.
Okay, well,
Impeachment.
answer
Yes,
it
I'm
again,
with
so I
her.
can answer the
I can't.
question. Because the
You can
answer
go back and
was,
watch the
I
video.
don't.
A few
That,
weeks ago, you told Tia, watch the video, watch the video. I'm going to move on. But I'm going to
because
say
I
this to
heard
say,
the answer was, we don't
I'm going to
know.
say, no, I'm going to say this to say,
No, we said, yeah, if they want to do it again. That's what we said.
You said they created that bubble not because of the pandemic, but to get them Black Lives Matter. Okay, fine. The NFL ain't running to create no bubble. Most leagues ain't running to create no bubble.
You
So the
better go
fact
ahead,
that
Miss
they
Austin.
created that bubble, they
But yeah,
understand.
the bubble was for the pandemic. They didn't create the bubble for Black Lives Matter. I say they decorated the bubble because of that.
Okay,
They
no, you didn't
decorated
use
it. The bubble
decorate.
was
You just
because to
said
get through the
decorate.
season.
How many people heard decorate? Raise your hand if you heard decorate.
I didn't use the word decorate. I said, no, I didn't use the word decorate. What I said was they didn't create the bubble for the pandemic, but they put the stuff in the bubble to represent Black Lives Matter. That's what I said. I didn't use the word decorate. But we know why they decorate. We know why they did the bubble. They didn't do the bubble for Black Lives Matter. Come on now. You know that, Kimberly. You're a sports fan. Don't do that.
But listen to this.
Don't do that.
The fact that they could have put them in that bubble and put NBA Matter. They could have put them in that bubble and put anything they wanted to put in that bubble. But they knew the power of what it meant to their players and what it meant to them. Those guys took a stand, did in a statement, and it wasn't a good a positive stand for everybody. People got mad. So my point is, they know their power. So they may not be talking, and we're not in there. Brandon saying, what's their clear goal? We're not in there. But I don't think that after this NBA over, or after this bubble over, those guys are just going to stop. And that's how stuff, they knew the power. They could have did anything in that bubble. Those owners recognize the power. So to talk about, oh, they ain't going to let them, they going to let them probably do some more stuff. Not boycott every game. I'm not saying I agree, but what I'm saying, if they do it, it's they have some kind of strategy to the way they're going to do it. Because the NFL ain't letting them do nothing. They got to
Right.
start to something. And I don't think, my point is, I don't think they're just going to stop here. They may boycott another game. They may boycott 2-3 games. But they didn't have to do nothing for George Floyd. Them people, like you say, Jerry Jones got this owner Mark Cuban got this. And not only did they put them in that bubble and let them do what they want to do, the coaches and the owners got in line with them. So to that alone is a recipe towards success and a start to some kind of movement. Because America's watching. Little black, brown boys and black, brown girls are watching. It's a start to let them know when I go back to school, I could do this. When I go do this, I could do this. We may not see it right now, but somewhere around, somebody doing something in connection to that to make a change. It's baby steps. That's all we're saying. We and Tanisha, we ain't made it high enough yet to have an answer.
Do that. Hopefully, we won't be in the same situation. I won't say 10, but come 20 years from now, doing the same thing. Because my fear is that there may be, and that might be going on to another subject, but there may be. We're hoping there won't be any type of race war. You know what I'm saying? That's why these type of things do need to change the laws of what things are happening, because the more and more they happen, the more frustrated people are. And a lot of people, and you know it, Pastor A, a lot of people are just saying, I'm going to keep calm. I'm not going to pop off. But they really want to pop off. But we have families and we have communities and we have people behind us. But hopefully it doesn't lead to that. Hopefully it doesn't lead to the black militia people coming in, going down into Wisconsin and going into Louisville and going into all these places. These things are starting back to arise again. You know, people are being quiet because they say, okay, it's pandemic. Some people are going to work. No. They need to make noise again. And I'm for real.
So this is leading to my next subject. I'm not trying to push y'all buttons. I'm going to ask the question to lead to the next subject. But I want y'all to answer the question first. What would happen if we find out that he was reaching for a gun?
It still didn't cause him to be shot 7 times in the back. I mean, my goodness, that was the way they shot him or even fired the shots. I just feel like it's something else could have taken place. Just like you.
But I mean, if he was reaching for a gun, if you reach for a gun, they're gonna shoot you.
He wasn't gonna shoot off nobody.
But they can't see if he was reaching for a gun. Okay, 2, they would have already put that statement out there. They right now they haven't put anything out there because they got to get their lawyers, they got to get their union, they got to get all these people together first before they put something out there. 3, I don't even know if they had a body cam or not. I don't know if that state has a body cam. I think they don't have a body cam. So yeah, if he was reaching for a gun, we would have known by now. Because trust me, they all in it for.
Because they got to validate why they shot him 7 times. So I think
they don't have to validate.
In the car.
No, they don't have to validate it.
You think so?
Could have happened.
I think because it was caught on camera, they do got to validate it. Had this not been
not validate. What I'm saying, you think they will come out with that? I'm asking a question because I'm gonna give you a bombshell. But you think they would have said something by now? I worked in the courtroom.
I don't.
I promise you, they say bombshells.
Yeah, they ain't gonna come out. I don't think so. No,
it's just so. If you internally, y'all, Tanisha, it'll be but y'all know where I'm going with this, because I asked that question because Russia race. Unfortunately, because we live in America and we see what's going on, we are programmed to rush because of race. That's what we're programmed to do. Like I said before, I don't know if he was reaching for a gun. You don't know. I don't know. If he was, man, I tell you, that would change everything. Because you know what? Something leaked out today from Kentucky that apparently is going to be a bombshell. And that's in the Breonna Taylor case.
Come on now. Oh,
so they got a lot of billboards.
So some news came out today. The police report investigation leaked today. And it gives detailed accounts of the sting, if you would. The sting that started, I think, in January. And it diffutes a lot of the initial accounts of the story. The first thing it diffutes was that they shouldn't have been at Breonna Taylor's house. Well, the investigation shows that they did a sting on 2 houses simultaneously. Now, this was already known, but we were already told that Breonna Taylor had relationships with somebody that was not living a good lifestyle. But we were told that she had left him alone. Well, they have, in the police reports, they show pictures, they show videos, they show bank accounts of how seemingly Breonna Taylor was still bailed this young man out of jail, still was kind of doing some things for him. And she had this boyfriend that was in the house. He was part of it as well. They put a tracker on Breonna Taylor's phone and car back in January. And it's online, it leaked. I can send you the link. The conversations on that telephone were startling. Also, a new report is saying, now this is coming from the guy in the house. Right after the incident happened, he calls his friend and said, hey man, I just shot at the police and they killed Breonna. His account, now he wasn't talking to the police, talking to his friends, suggests that Breonna Taylor got up to answer the door as he's shooting at the police. So now that defutes the fact that she was asleep during the period of time. His account to his friend was basically, I was kind of responsible for her death. This leaked today, and it's interesting because last night, our good black brother from the state of Kentucky, who's the Attorney General, I think it was very strategic that he spoke last night and this leaked today.
Absolutely.
He said last night after his thing, he tweeted that, in so many words, it's going to come out, but it's not necessarily going to come out the way people think it's going to come out. Now,
well, let it come out. Let it come
Right.
out. Whatever
there are two things that's
got
going to happen. Either this is the biggest cover-up
Right.
in our nation's history, or maybe we didn't get all the facts up front.
Well,
It's
let
a
it
big
all come
cover-up.
out.
It's
Let the,
now,
let the
again,
events happen and let it come
cover-up.
out.
again, the
Now,
thing that
hold up,
makes
Pastor,
it,
because you said a whole lot now. Let us answer. Let us say
well,
something.
let me finish it now. I got to finish it because
Go
the
ahead.
thing that
Wrap
makes
it
it
up.
damaging is that this is not paperwork. This is voice recordings. It's hard to doctor that. You can doctor paperwork. It's hard to doctor video evidence, pictures, and voice recordings. It's hard to do that. Go ahead, Tanisha.
I think somebody, who's that? Okay, Miss Austin, that's my girl there. My lady there. She made a great point. Even with the coroner, everything has to come out. Okay, you came out with this voice, and that's the perspective that they want to give us. However, there's a whole lot of other stuff that has to deal with it. The gunshots, where the gunshots were, we don't know all of that. It should have been. It would tell us where her movement was. Was she in the bed? Was she standing up? As you were saying, they would be able to tell that from the corner coming in taking a picture. They have to take a picture of the dead body. All that plays an effect. If you're gonna leak that, leak the pictures too. Leak other stuff. Don't just leak things for us to say, oh, because we're getting to the point now. Because at one time they had stopped in Kentucky, so now we're back in Kentucky, right? So now you want to say what you got to say because you don't want to be held accountable, Mr. Black Man there. Attorney General, you don't want to be held accountable. Again, I say that, don't want to be held accountable, but now you want to put all these things, all these leaks, all this stuff. You have to put the whole facts. Don't just put just part of it. And of
Well,
course,
he didn't leak it now. To his credit, He didn't leak it.
They would be
He
the
didn't
ones
leak
that
it.
they would be the ones that leak it. Come on
This
now.
was sold. Well, this
He
was
know we leaked
sold.
it.
This was
They would be
sold.
the ones to leak
Now
it.
somebody sold this to somebody. What happened? It's just like Michael
And
Jackson
it has
pictures.
something to do with them selling it. Ain't nobody just all of a sudden it has to do with them selling it. Y'all
I
go
don't
ahead
know.
and
It's
make
people
this look.
making money.
It's
It's
like
people willing to
sacrifice.
make some money
It's like
now.
the NBA sacrifice. They sacrifice. It always got to be one that sacrifice for the team.
But what I'm
Republicans,
saying
whoever.
is, but my question is what that guy again? This is not. See, when I looked at it, when I was presented the information, I had skepticism, right? But again, what I'm saying is, like he admits to his friend, hey, I was blasting at the cops. Basically, what they're saying is, remember now, here's the narrative. The narrative was that the cops didn't knock, and so he didn't know who they was, and they started shooting. When he's calling his friend, now this is a phone conversation. He says, man, I started shooting at the cops, and they started shooting back.
Yeah.
Now, if that's the case, they're gonna be let off. I could prove it. It just that's what's gonna happen. And unfortunately, it's gonna just be
even them passing the bill, okay, of them coming there, the no knock. That's the case that
Something
has to
happened.
do with it as well. I don't care if you're a criminal. So what if you're a criminal? You know how many criminals is out here who haven't gotten caught?
but
That make them
listen
criminals?
listen to
If he's a
this. Why you
criminal,
got to
so that
read the
means
report. You got to read the report.
it's not justified because you're a criminal that, oh, okay, so then because you're a criminal because she was dating somebody who was selling drugs. Hell, excuse me, there's a lot of people, that
See, the damaging thing came out because he said they were banging on the door, and I started shooting. They were banging on the door. Remember, that's what I'm saying. The narrative is changing, and it's changing from the guy's words.
But he said he started shooting at the cop. That's what he said, right?
Yeah, he said they were banging.
Okay.
He caught. No. Listen to what I'm saying. They're banging on the door. Remember now, the whole thing was a no knock. So this changes the no knock. They didn't knock. What he's saying to his friend is they knocked. They were banging on the door, and I started shooting. Now these are his words. This is not the police officer's word. This is the guy, Kenneth Walker's words.
But
to
all
his
I'm saying
friend. Now he don't know his phone is tapped. His phone is tapped. They had tapped all these people's phones. They got pages of it. They were tapping their phone. They was tapping Beyonce's bank accounts. They put a track on the car. So all their phones was tapped. So as soon as it happened, he called his boy and said, listen, man, Beyonce's dead. And I can't go into what that language was like, but it's explicit. And so that's, man, if this comes out and they play this tape, whoo, Lord.
But they have
It's
to
already out.
be accountable too. So what? Because of the tape, you have the whole apartment that has to be accountable. You have the whole structure of pictures. If they have, and they probably lost them. That has to be accountable as to what happened. Okay, so he said that. People get on the phone. Oh man, this happened. These people done did this. I done shot these people. Okay, yeah, you're gonna say that at that moment as an emotion. You're gonna, you looking for somebody. You got to tell somebody. Oh, hey, maybe hope they'll come to your house. Whatever the case may be. Yeah, but there's a whole everything that has to deal with it. You have the gunshots that went out to the officers. Okay, and then one of them get shot. The gunshots that went inside the house. Everything in there has a play.
Well, they're not gonna be. Honestly, this is the honest to God truth. If that man shot at them, they're not gonna be held accountable for that's move. We can't look at this as a movie now. If you shooting at the police, they shooting back. Ain't no and they not trying to. Bullets don't have eyes, so they shooting through a door. You can't say to the cop, now let's just be honest now. You can't say to the cop, don't shoot through the door when somebody shot you through the door. It don't work like that. Now let's just be for real on that now.
Okay,
if he shot through the door, if he shot through the door, he put her life in danger by doing that. That's just the honest to God truth. We may not like it. It may not be what we want to hear. But if I shoot through the door at a police officer, I put my whole family in danger. That's just the real story. That ain't me being whatever. That's just the God honest truth.
Why did they still? Why? If they were doing investigations and listening and they had all this protocol going on, why did they fail the protocol when they came to do the bus at the house? You know, what was up with that? You know what I'm saying? Normally people wait till you out in the street anyway before they go affect the lives of other people who are in, especially apartment complex or building.
But
You know,
they show warrants at houses all the time. You can do that's nothing wrong with serving a warrant at somebody else. That's where you're gonna serve
like
it
you
at.
said, a warrant. That's not what they
Right.
came to do.
No, they had a warrant. They had a warrant. That's not up for dispute. It was the dispute was whether it was a no knock or a warrant. It wasn't a dispute. They had a warrant. Remember, they did 2 buses simultaneously. They bust the other guy. Remember, we kept the narrative was the other guy was arrested. Well, it's true, but they bust both of them at the same time. They did a simultaneous bust. Because what ends up happening in those cases is, hey, if we do it one at a time, Junebug just got arrested, run. So they hit everybody at the same time. Don't ask me how I know that, but it's happened to somebody in my family, so I know that's how they do it. And so they do it simultaneously, and that's what ended up happening. So again, if Brandon said he definitely had a warrant. Yeah, they definitely had a warrant. So that part is really not up for debate. What I'm trying to say to us, and this is just what's gonna come out, y'all. It's just whether we like it as black folks or not.
I don't have a problem with come out. I'm not one of them people, oh, they black and this is that. Like when Jussie Smollett and that came out. What I'm saying, it didn't take that long for Jussie Smollett to come out. If it was something, they arrested this man, they released him. My thing is, this don't drag on this long. You see all these movements. If it ain't no cover up or whatever, come on and let's get on. And let's move on with whatever. So all this stuff that's leaking and coming out, I'm not saying it's a cover up. I'm not saying it is a cover up. But whatever it is, it's been plenty of cases. A lot of they just been too tight rope and too tight sealed on this.
But the thing about it is, here's the thing. Again, I'm just giving you this from a judicial clerk, which I was for 10 years background. Believe it or not, they're still within their time frame. Justice is slow, man. It ain't swift. Remember now, they ain't even.
But justice is slow on our side. That's what I'm saying.
I understand that.
That's my point. That's all.
Again, we may not like it, but it's just been March. Again, when you think about this case, think about Nicholas Cruz, man. They ain't even started his trial yet, and he shot them folk in 2016. What I'm saying is,
we're gonna forget.
Right.
But
what we're saying is slow.
They ain't charged.
They have no responsibility. Listen to me. Remember now, and we didn't even get to talk about this. You want to know why the black prosecutor in Georgia got fired? Then he was on slippery slope. But you know why he lost? Because he was too fast.
Yeah, we said that. We said that.
So ain't nobody making that mistake. As a prosecutor, remember now, the prosecutor's job is to build the case to where it's undisputable either way. Or the police department, it builds the case and then they present it to the prosecution. So they're within that part. So I know we want it swift. We want it swift. And that's what I'm saying. That is it race or is it rush? Because we rush because it is race, not understanding that these things like this will take the time, and they have no obligation. We may want them to do press conferences. We may want them to come out and spill the facts. But guess what? They don't do it because it influences the jury. That's why they don't come out and do these types of things. Because how can you get a jury on something when every other day you disseminating the facts? You cannot do that. You cannot do that. We want them to do that, but that's not the way the judicial system works.
But if the boyfriend did all that, I got people that don't been arrested and sitting out on bond with less stuff that they don't did than that. All I'm saying is something can move in some way to let them know you moving in the case. They ain't moving in the case nowhere for this to be a national case like it is. They came out, took the man in, let him go. He cleared the charges, maybe. I got people that I know been sitting on bond and running around, at least arrested, picked up, got a bond, no bond, something. Ain't nothing moved in this case against the officer, against the boyfriend, against the nothing. You would think, okay, well, if they got that much on the boyfriend, let's do this on the boyfriend at least, so it could take the whatever off of them. The police. They got something. You got something. They got enough to arrest somebody from, even with what y'all said. If that's
Well,
what
they
they wanted
did.
to do,
That's what I'm saying. They did arrest. They
and they let the
did.
man go.
They did
Yeah, 'cause
arrest
they said
him.
yeah.
They
Right, and
did,
they let him go.
and he's about to right. But they did arrest him. But it doesn't mean that they're not gonna press charges. They don't.
But
That's the
listen,
thing.
Pastor A,
It's
hold
gonna
up,
be.
Pastor A.
This is gonna be.
Even
This gonna
if
be crazy. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
It
even
is.
if he's
Welcome to
guilty,
Black
he's
America.
guilty. Even
Huh?
if he's guilty, he's guilty. Okay, no
Right.
doubt. We're not going to
Right.
argue that fact. If he's guilty, he's guilty. I mean, but my thing about it is this right here. If he's guilty and you knew that he was guilty and you knew this all, why would you allow all this in your state? Why would you allow this in your city? That's all I'm trying to say. You would have given
That's what
something
I'm saying.
quiet to people. Don't allow all this. They sitting out in front of your home. People are getting arrested for sitting out in front of your home. You have the militants sitting out in front of your home. All this is going on, and you know that he's guilty, or you just like you paid somebody to leak something. They would have leaked something then. They would have said we have to arrest this person on other charges. They would have kind of shut all that down. Why would you
Well,
allow this to go on the way that it did if they knew that it was going to turn like this? If he's guilty, I mean, he's guilty. I'm for the law. You guilty, you guilty. You do the crime, you do the time. I understand that, and it'd be so heartening.
All
that
I'm saying is it's something on both
for Breonna
sides in that
Taylor.
story. It's something on both sides in that story. It's something on their
Yeah,
side
it's
that
something
probably
else.
wants some
Yeah.
arrest, and it's something on them police side that probably wants something. May not be in the actual killing, but it could be prior to they came in their house. It's something on both sides. Because if it was something on one side, they would have gladly took the brother man down, put all that out and whatever. It's something on both sides. I'm not saying the police killed the girl and all that. That could be, can't be, but it's something that led up before that they ain't doing, that they trying to whatever for their part. That's just my
but it's
opinion.
not. Here's the part that we don't like. But I'm telling you, man, it's the truth. They don't. Oh, they don't have to play this out in the media. I know what you're saying, which is true, Tanisha. That they could do that for peace sake, but they don't have to, because what they have been saying. I'm not saying to give them credit, but they have been saying we're working the case. That's really all that they have to do. We want, and this is what I'm saying. And I remember I started this statement out. This is where we are in America, because unfortunately, we have the perception of we can no longer give America the benefit of the doubt. So whenever we see stuff like that, there is a rush to judgment based upon the fact.
No, we're not rushing the judge because they
Oh yeah,
just
we
put this
rush the
out.
judge. We
But
rush the
my
judge in
thing
situations
is-
like this. We
my
just
thing
like we
is,
said in the
if
Jesse
They just
Smollett
put this
case.
out, so
That
we
was a
can't say
rush
that
to
we're rushing the
judgment.
judge.
But it
We
didn't
weren't
involve the
rushing. We
police.
wanted to
I-
know
I-
something.
my-
What happened? Now you
my
just put
problem
this out.
is
That's not a rush.
every time
No,
it
a rush to
involved the
judgment meaning
police.
we had already said they done killed this girl in her sleep.
And they ain't
That was
say
a
nothing
rush,
else.
huh?
Yeah, we said that. And
And
that's
it
it. They
was,
led us to believe. They didn't say
Right.
anything else.
And when
For months.
stuff
but that's not their
transpired,
job to
nobody
say
else
nothing
said
anything
rush.
else.
nothing
That's
else.
what court is for.
It only takes a short time for them to get clearance of the videos, to get clearance of these audios. I would say I give them 2 months to get clearance for the FBI to have the audio, the video, the pictures, all of that. I understand that. We understand that it takes time to do that. For them to get their stuff together, to get their lawyers together, get their union together, to get
But
their
this is going to court,
We
not
get
this
that.
is going to court, not me. See, that's the part I don't think we understand. This is going
We're
to
not-
court.
Yeah, it's going
This
to
is
court.
not going to the media. This is going to the
Right.
court. They don't ever have to get the media stuff. We're just used to it because we're in this social media age. But
They
they
don't have to give it, but they have to give their lawyers. They need to give their lawyers what's going on. They can't just go into court and say, "Oh, this is what we got." They have to give their lawyers. They have to share their evidence. They have to give those things to their lawyers.
Listen
which they
to
have
me.
not done.
We don't know if they did or not. If they gave this kind of
They
damaging evidence, their lawyers ain't gonna
haven't.
come out and say this.
They
Matter of
haven't.
fact, if you
Come
read the
on.
transcript, the lawyers
Come on,
got
Pastor
it
A. They
because
haven't.
listen
They
to me.
haven't.
You ain't read. Listen to me. Listen to me. I'm gonna send you the link. Listen to me. The lawyer is on the documents. The lawyer statements are on these documents. Trust me when I tell you, man. Lord, see, this
I'm
is
like,
this
Kim,
is the
something
thing.
fishy going on.
This
All
is
I'm
the thing.
saying
I
is,
think the
this is why we rush the judgment. Cause when it's something dealing with police, man,
That's
that's how long it takes. But when it's us, like when it
That's
was
true.
Jesse and
That's
they knew he
true.
tried to hang his own
It
self, man, they put Jesse on blast. They had cameras
true.
the next day. They had
Everything
cameras
out.
then. But now you want us to believe on y'all end. We can't have you ain't nothing, ain't seen nobody ain't nothing. That's why and that ain't our that's just the nature of the beast. When it's
And
on
we're
the
gonna
black
continue
man's
to
side,
rush to it.
it's when it's the police, it's nothing. But when
What?
when they had a chance to embarrass Jesse, they took every opportunity they could.
Lost his
Every
job,
opportunity.
everything.
What happens to the movement if, God forbid, everything that's on these documents and tapes is factual? And I know we're gonna say it's their fault because they could have came out with this, but that's not how this
Well,
works.
that's just one part
What?
of the movement. That's not the entire movement.
Right.
No,
Because
no. You can't junk out like
there are
that. There is-
many
you just
names.
stop. No.
Nothing
There
See,
are
you see how
many
you
names
reverted?
that deals
You
with the
just
movement.
said no. You
It's
reverted
still
because
part
you
of
say
the movement.
there's a
If
lot
they're
of
guilty, they're guilty.
billboards.
If
There's a
they're
lot of
guilty, they
billboards.
are guilty.
No. What I'm saying is, remember now, the Breonna Taylor movement is because no knock, shot through the door, killed her.
Why would they allow that to be a law?
If they knocked, if the guy shot through the door and they shot back, if that's what happened, what happens to this movement?
It still
It
keep going.
continues.
It keep going.
It's still
Because
moving.
it's a George Floyd movement.
No,
it's
no,
a Trayvon Martin movement.
All of that is still
Is it a Breonna Taylor
I'm not
movement?
talking about George Floyd. I'm not talking about Trayvon Martin. I'm talking about the Breonna Taylor who's
But
on
we
every
already
billboard.
Breonna Taylor
Question.
movement. But
Who's
what,
on-
is she one
All
movement
Black
by
Lives-
herself? She's a part of
Why
the
y'all
Black
keep
Lives
adding
movement.
to questions? I'm
But
not
how we
asking.
adding? But the answer is the movement keep it
Breonna
moving.
Taylor.
Right.
This what happened
Breonna.
to the movement. This what
Breonna
happened to the
Taylor.
movement.
I'm not talking
This what
about.
happened
I'm
to
like you, Nikki.
I'm not talking about George Floyd. I'm not talking about Jacob, who I can't call his name. I'm talking about
Blake.
Breonna Taylor case. It's a good
But
day
this
to
what
arrest
happened to
the
the
cop.
movement.
The good day to arrest the cop
Let
that
us
killed
answer. Can we
Breonna
answer?
Taylor
You asked the question.
happens
Let us
every
answer.
day. What happens
Okay, so
to
you
that
asked the question.
Breonna Taylor who's on the old cover magazine,
boy.
who's on every
Come on now, don't go
billboard?
there. Don't go there. Don't go
What
there. Don't go there. Don't go there.
happens?
Don't go there. Don't go there.
I'm asking a question. This
So
is a
let me answer the
legitimate
question.
question. What
Let me
happens
answer the
to
question.
all of the frustration because of what we thought happened when in actuality, none of it, if it comes out, none of that happens? What do we have egg on our face?
No,
No.
We do, but it'll
absolutely
never
not.
come out because
Somebody
we ain't gonna
just
believe
died
all
just the other
facts
day.
unless you do the
Absolutely
research.
not.
No.
Absolutely
So we
not.
don't have
happened to
egg
the-
on our face
what
about
happened?
Breonna Taylor.
No,
you
ain't got-
said the
we don't have
movement
egg
is-
on our face for Martin Luther King. No, we don't have no egg on our
Emmett
face.
Till.
Absolutely not. Come on
Why
now.
we have egg on our face for Martin Luther King? Why we have egg
Because
on our
that's
face
part
for
of the
that?
movement too. All of it is part of the
No,
movement.
we miss it. Y'all
We don't
keep
have
trying to
egg on
dance
our
around my
face. What you
question because
talking
y'all don't
about?
want to answer it. I'm talking about.
No.
But we answered it. No.
So
This
if we
what
find
happened
out,
to the
Brandon,
movement.
if
We
we
keep
find
it
out this was
moving.
your boy.
justifiable,
We
if we
keep
find
it
out it was
moving.
just, so if we find out this was justifiable,
If it's justifiable, it's justifiable. But that's not egg on my face because you got other people, like I said, other names. I can post some other
it's not
names.
about the. I'm not talking about the other names. I'm not. So y'all,
Okay,
trying to lump it in.
So their
I'm talking
movement,
about.
okay, if it comes down, if they're wrong, they're wrong. Period. Is it egg on our face? Absolutely not.
Is it egg on their face for Trayvon Martin? All the movements we started.
There y'all
He
go
don't want you to
again.
add nobody
I'm
else. He
not
just wants you to
talking
talk about this one.
nobody
Okay.
else. I can't.
But
You can't.
But the answer is we've already said no. So you can go
No.
to the
Okay.
next question. No.
Okay,
Then that's the
okay,
answer.
we
No.
said no.
You keep saying what? And we said nothing. No.
Thank
Because
you.
y'all keep bringing up more people. Y'all keep bringing up more people, and
Well,
you
we're
saying it
saying
because
no,
now
that
Nikisha
it's
said
not gonna
yeah.
stop the movement. It's still gonna keep going.
Right, the
Granted,
movement,
yeah,
no.
we we may look like some fools
Nakisha.
because we
Nakisha.
said
The
what?
answer
Our
is no.
friend.
He
The
could go to the
Breonna
next
Taylor
question.
Definitely no.
movement. The
No.
Breonna Taylor move. Okay, fine. As long as we
Breonna
just talking
Taylor
about
Taylor
Breonna
No.
Taylor. I'm not talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. I'm
Oh, I
just
need to
talking about
Google.
all the hell we raised because the cops killed Breonna Taylor. If it comes out that the cops didn't kill Breonna Taylor, that they were shooting at this guy, and the report said he ran to the room by Breonna Taylor and was ducking and hiding, and that's how the girl got killed, which is what the report said, which is what he said to his friend on the tape in the phone call. Did we look stupid for thinking that
No, we didn't look
she
stupid
was
because we didn't have no
she was
information
innocent.
because they
She
kept
was
it.
what the
innocent.
media
They
gave
kept
us.
it.
Okay,
She
but
was
what happened
innocent,
to the
but
movement?
but
The movement shift from the
they
police
did
to hang
not
the
kill
boyfriend.
her. That would mean that they did not kill her. She was caught in the cross.
In the
Remember
crossfire.
now.
I get that.
Crossfire,
I
right?
get
Now
that.
let
We
me
get
tell you
it.
how we were hypocritical. I'm gonna tell you how
We
Kim
get it.
sounds hypocritical. I'm gonna tell you why Kim sounds hypocritical. Because this reminds me of the UPS. This reminds me of UPS. And
The
Kimberly,
driver
you
that got
said
caught in the
this.
crossfire.
You caught in the crossfire, and we were mad because that man got on TV and was critical, and we got mad saying, what was the police supposed to do? He was caught in the crossfire. What I'm saying is we can't get mad when the man was mad because his son got caught in the crossfire, and we said it was justifiable when it looked like maybe Breonna Taylor was caught in the crossfire. We can't get mad. That's being hypocritical.
But at
That's
the
what I'm
time,
saying.
wait. He called my name. He called my name. Let me talk now. The problem is this. When that man got caught in the crossfire, we took what we had at that time, which was those robbers did what they did, and he didn't have a choice. He was took hostage by those robbers. They were going after those robbers. In this situation, we had the information that we had. They was going after somebody that wasn't in their house. We took what we had and judged by what we had. So what's hypocritical when you go by what you go by? And
Who
then
said
when you
that?
said,
Exactly what I
and
was
then you
gonna
didn't
say.
even let me finish because you said what happened to the movement. I said keep it moving, and I said we gonna hang the boyfriend. That's what I said. I'm not letting nobody off. If the police did it, we hanging them. If the boyfriend did it, we hanging him. We hanging who need to get hung. And the movement past Breonna, the movement don't stop because there's too many of us that don't went down to stop. And I guarantee you, the police, like I said, and I stand behind my word, the boyfriend might have did something, but they ain't all innocent in this case. They waiting to put what they waiting to put out so they can get their part right and it could shift how they want it to shift. They waiting to shift it how they want to shift it. Whether he guilty or he innocent, it don't
Well,
really
let me
matter
ask
to me.
y'all a question. Let me ask you another question. Who said that the story that we heard? Did the police say that?
We went by the media. You know how the media goes, but that's
But
what I'm
God
saying.
dang, that's my
Listen,
point. That's my point.
but
What
we're
I'm
all
saying
aware
is,
that if
here's
you're
what I'm
seeing
saying.
on the
Here's what I'm
news,
saying. Here is what I'm saying.
I didn't
We
hear you. Who
can't
said the
blame.
what? Wait, ask the
you
question again. Who
assume
said
that
what?
is factual.
We
But who
can't
said what?
blame the
The
police department for information that they didn't come out with.
But
That's what
how
I'm
many
saying.
times? Wait, but all the information they came out with say George Zimmerman ain't killed Trayvon and all this other
No,
stuff.
the
We
media
still
didn't
got to
say
go
that.
by what we got to go by.
No. The media never said that. The
And
media
they
never said
information
that.
and they information said that they never even came out with who shot the guy you talking about, the UPS driver. That ain't never come out. We went by
That
what
was
we
all
had.
the news. I mean, you go
You
by
go by
what
you
you feel
have.
like is factual.
We go by the media stuff when it favors us.
However,
Let's
Pastor
just be
A.
real. We go
Okay,
by
we
all
may
of us.
go by the media, but listen,
When it favors us,
but
when
every
it
police
favors us, number
department,
one,
hold on.
and when we know the truth, because there's been sometimes we done seen stuff and we know the truth, we be like the media lying. See, that's what I'm saying. That's why again the question
But how do
was
we know the
race.
truth? How do we know the truth? What you mean when
Because
we
they
know the
never
truth? Give me
reveal
an
the truth.
example. Give me an example of when we know the
No.
truth. What we know the truth
Hold on,
about?
Kim.
I want to
Before
know
you
an
give an
example.
Before you give an example, Pastor A, yeah, the media may put what they see or what they know to believe. However, every police department has these press conferences
And the
about
police know what to give the media.
what they want to give us the truth
Exactly.
to what
They
is
give
the
it
truth.
to the media.
So if you ain't contradicting, if you ain't going by or saying no, that's not true, this is what happened, what are we to believe? Because you
Right.
leaving us no choice. So you
But the
want us to
police
believe
have
this. You
always
want us to come
said.
to your town. You want
But
us
the
to start
police have
fires. You
always
want
said
us
that
to
they
have
were
these
right.
things. You want them to sit in front of your house, you know,
But
and
we
get arrested
still
and
don't
sit in
know
front of
if
your
they're
house, in
right.
front of
We
your
still
wife and
don't
your
know.
kids. Come
But
on.
no,
We
she
still
just
don't
said
know.
what the police said. I'm not. I don't know if they right or wrong. I'm saying
Right, we
the
don't
police
know.
have always said that they were right and they were investigating. That's what they've said. I
No.
see.
Where the
Go ahead.
story come from where they had the wrong address? The police, they had
That
to
didn't
get
come
that
from the
information
police.
from
That
some,
did not come
but they
from the
had to get
police.
that from somewhere.
That did not come from
That came
police.
from
That came
from
out.
evidence fact of the sheet of paper they had.
Right. Absolutely.
What
Go
that
ahead,
came
keep
out
going.
was because again, this is how. And I'm trying to caution us because I don't want to be manipulated by the media. If you
But we
look
are.
back on it, the other address was the other house that they smashed that day. That's where that came from. So when they also did the other house, it was suggested that they shouldn't have been at Beyond house, but it appears that they were trying to go to both houses. That's just what this looks like, man. And I'm just,
That's what
I'm
it
just
looked
going
like, but we
by.
still don't know. But we
I'm
still
just
don't
going
know.
by. If this it's a couple of things. Listen, I have seen, honest to God, I've seen
I don't
police
think it
reports
was fake.
change.
I don't think it was fake, Brandon. I don't think
I
it was fake. I think it's a lot of missing things that
have
we don't
seen
know the whole
police
story to.
reports fabricated or amended.
Absolutely.
I've
We've
been in
all have. We all
courtrooms
have.
and I've seen police reports and arrest reports. I get 50 amendments. I was like, well, dang, how many times they gonna change this story?
Absolutely.
But in this case, when it started back in January and they got dates, they got circled. This is Breonna Taylor doing this. This is her bringing this house, taking this money. This is her bailing this guy out of jail. These are the recordings. They got jail tapes. They got man. This thing is, man. It took me 2 hours to read all this stuff I just read today. Lakeisha, you saw the link. We got the link. It took me hours to read all
Well,
that
I
stuff.
ain't seen
And
nothing.
All I'm saying
I'm
is
like, what
when
is
this
the hell am I
story,
reading? I'm reading a story that I never thought I would read, and it blew my
agreed.
mind today. I just got this information today, and so it's blowing my mind I'm like I know how to use Photoshop, so I can
Okay, it's a
manipulate a
link. Is
picture. I
is
could
the
do
link?
that.
Did they say the link was true?
No, it's the report now. Ain't not. It's the report because
But I'm
the
saying, did they
newspaper.
say the report is true? Did they come out? Did the police department come out and say this is true?
Yes. Okay. Let me
No, I'm
explain
just
how I
asking.
got out. Okay. It's definitely valid. What happened was the news report, I guess it's coming out. It's coming out. Remember now, the attorney general said it ain't coming out tomorrow, but it's coming out soon. What ends up happening in these stories, they give the newspaper a heads up. They give them a briefing of
Only
what's
a
going to
day.
happen. Right. So what ends up happening is they tell you this is the story that's going to come out. Right. It got leaked early. See, they not ready for it to come out yet because they probably gonna do a press conference or something. So it got leaked early in this paper. The paper pulled out and said, "Listen, we apologize for putting something out there. Basically, that's not ready to be put out yet." And so
Well,
they
I'll
took
wait
it
until they
down.
do their press conference. That's what I'll do.
So they took it down.
I'll wait until they do their
But
press conference.
because what it seems like they're doing is when it come out, they're gonna be
I'll
able
wait
to.
until they do their press conference. Then I
It's
know
gonna
it
be
to be
some
true.
damage control. You're gonna have to do some
Right.
damage control. You've leaked this report and with no consideration of the family. Remember, somebody did die. So I
Oh
just feel
yeah.
like, that is also something to put into the perspective of the mindset of us. But just to go back onto everything, we as people, and I think we're all conditioned this way, is whatever the media shows us is what we assume to be true. we don't always get the facts until after. Sometimes we never get the facts.
Well, not
told
always
the
we'll
case.
assume it's true.
Well, not all, but I'm just saying we presume that what we're being told or
post that
what's
for?
being reported is factual.
It's
So,
true.
for me,
No.
when I heard the story, and I'm only speaking for me, I believed it. I'm just like, oh my God, this happened.
We
And
believe the
then-
Justin Smollett case, so it's easy
well,
to
I
believe.
didn't
We
believe that
believe
one,
that.
so we're
I
not
didn't
gonna
even
talk
have
about
an
that one.
opinion about it. I didn't care.
But we
that
believe a
wasn't-
lot of America believe that. We
A
can't
lot
deny
of
that.
America believe it.
I didn't, but I'm just saying we're human. So granted, all of this is coming out now, but had we still not been talking about her, we probably would have never known the true facts of this case, because in actuality,